Been working, so now it's a pleasure for me to be the first speaker here on the stage. So warm welcome from my side. My name is Ingo Hild. I'm working for AMS Osram, and you know all my products. You can see the light, but I tell you a little bit more about the company. At first, everybody knows Osram from the history, but nobody knows AMS Osram, and that's something new. AMS is a smaller Austrian company. And normally in the past you would say the larger one just buys the smaller one. But there it was differently. The smaller Austrian company just bought, the slower one. It was Osram. So nowadays we are a combined company, and you can see on the figures we are quite big, and we have a long history. For sure it comes from Osram. What are we standing for? What are we producing? Yeah, for sure, we are producing light bulbs. Yeah, that's the reason that we are here and we can see something during the night. But nowadays, it's much more. It is sensing, illumination, and visualization. And it makes sense to combine these two companies, the smaller Austrian, because they produce, sensors, they produce computing systems. And nowadays, light is much more than only, to see something when you turn on the light in the night. It is the combination between sensoric, and feeling, emotion, computing, and finally, it interacts with you, and light is much more. And when you go into a car and you see, the different areas where we are involved, then you can see we are everywhere. We make the light that you can run the car in the night, and we are the light interior, that you have the feeling, the blue light, the emotions, and so on. And it interacts with you. But coming to my plant, so I'm a plant manager and I'm leading the plant in Schwabmünchen. It's a plant where we produce pre-materials, so no light bulb at all. And honestly, I would say I'm the change manager, because we are in a dramatic change. We produce in my plant pre-materials, metal like tungsten and molybdenum, phosphorus and platelets. That does not sound really sexy, but that's very important. And I know each of you has a product from myself, because without my products there is no light at all. But coming now to the change that's happened in the last years. When we started, for a fluorescent lamp, we needed over 8,000 milligram of a phosphor to produce the light. And then after 20 years, we halved the phosphor, and after 20 years again. And finally, when you just take the years 1960, 80, 20, then you expect it's getting lower. But now there is a dramatic change. There is a big dramatic change because we have now the LEDs. And within my production, we changed the volumes from 4,000 tons from the traditional product to 4 tons for the LED product. So there is a dramatic change in volume, and you can imagine that has an impact on the employees. And when we come now as well on the product life cycle, Osram was used to produce the light bulbs over almost 100 years. So we were able to optimize the process step by step. So you can imagine there was a really huge efficiency in the product. But nowadays it is changed, because the customer comes, they have an expectation, and we produce the light system only once for the customer. So it is not now a mass production, it is, a project business. And that's completely different. So we have to go for the customer and we have to ask them, what do you need? And we have to build it specific for him. And in the past you were going to the store and you just bought what you got. Yeah? So there is a big change from the mass production to the project business. And if you go to the, everybody knows the smartphone, you expect each time when you buy a new phone that you have more light, that your accu lasts longer, So the expectation is now that, you know, the future changes dramatically from year to year. And then you can imagine that has a high impact in total on the employees. And the light bulb that we were used to produce over 100 years is just disappeared. Yeah? It's done. And now the employees, they stay there and they say, okay, I was used to produce a value for the company, for everybody. Now there is a big valley. I don't know how to, you know, to overcome that situation. What will happen in the future? Do they need me? What should I do? So the employees, they are really staying on the border and they are afraid about the future. But for sure, there is a future. We know the light bulb disappeared, but the LED that we are using, it's still there. But the question is, how the employee is coming from one area to the other area. There is a road, there is a way, but this way is not really, you know, bright, it's not large, and they are afraid to go there. And what do we have to do as a change manager? We have to tell them, trust and go over this bridge, but for sure this road is not very thick. They are afraid. They are afraid to do a mistake. And what we have to do, we have to take care about the employees that they are going this way. But how we can achieve it, and there is one solution, the future skills. Everybody heard it. This is something that we try to train the employees, trust on you, and you will be able to do this. Future skills, I think there are many available. There are different opportunities, you know, to make an span and to look for them. But it's not important to follow up all of them. It is important that you pick up the future skill that is, you know, in your situation required to fulfill the target, to overachieve, you know, and to bridge into the future. So we selected 4 of them. 4 of them because we believe that is most important for our business and to go into the future. The first thing is agility. We know everything, everybody who has an idea, but the question is, are you able to do it? So everything what you can see here today in the presentation, it is not what we intend to do, it is what we have done in the past. So, and that's one thing, trust and do it, even when you fall down. So everything is, we empower the people, just if you have an idea, go for it, go forward and try to do it. The next thing, especially I would say for the Germans, it is that you go, the rule, agility, don't go for 100%, don't do over-engineering. Yeah, I'm an electrical engineering from the background, and normally at Osram, you know, we were always going not for 100%, I would say 200 or 300%. So especially for the computer power, for the machine efficiency and so on. But nowadays, I believe it is not good always to go for 100% because then you are too slow. You have to bridge from the current situation into the future and to take whatever you have currently and to, you know, to just bridge the situation and not to build it for 1,000 years. Normally we expect that we take now a steel bridge with bricks and whatever, but there it's a wooden bridge. It is good enough to go from one side to the other side. And with the team that you have. And the next future skill approach is that when you go forward, like the sportman that you have seen, you fell down, yeah, like in an event. And what's happened normally in a traditional big company, the older guys say, I knew it just before you did this step, you will fall down. I told it right at the beginning, yeah. So they just take the fingers and they point on you and they say, I know it better. You didn't listen. And I think we need a different culture. If you go forward and you are afraid to do a mistake, you just stay. And when you fall down, we need a culture. We have to establish a culture that we take the hand and help them to stand up. And this is something that you have to build up, especially in a traditional company, with a history of over 100 years. And then, for sure, the ability for the future to solve the problems. We have seen over the couple of years that the world is changing dramatically. We have seen there are different crises, different problems that we have, and we never know what will come up next. So this is the mentality that we put into the head of the employees, that we go forward to find solutions with the ideas that you have in your mind, and please trust in you and do it. And the question is how we build up this problem-solving ability. That's very easy. You have to train the employees. And this is the philosophy that we are practicing in my plant. That means you are never too old to learn. Normally, you say, okay, a people is getting retired in 1 or 2 years. We don't have to spend money for a training, but I believe that it's wrong. Even this guy who is, retiring in 2 years, they are working 24 months in your company and doing a value. And when you train them, they do the value much better and a higher value. And therefore, what I do is I train as much as possible. And like in the school, I never know what is really necessary. So I try to build up a really huge, fundament that the people are able to take all the different pieces and bring them together, because the ability to solve the problems, you have to combine it in a different manner. So that's the strategy that we follow up. But honestly, these are, the management words, agility, you go for problem solving, you go for lifelong learning, but how to do it? And that's the question. And like I said, we do the things. So to think how we try to do the transformation of my plant, coming from the tradition into the new business, into the LED business, I said, okay, at first I have to tell the employees that we have to change something. So I looked for a picture, because the pictures, the people are able to see it, visualize. And I used this picture on the Workers' Council meeting, and I told them, we have to go from one glass to the other glass. And they said, okay, that's a good idea. It should work. But then I realized within this picture there is a mistake, because one guy told me, Mr. Hild, we do what we ever did. We just stay where we are, we stay in the glass. And they said, okay, you are right from the picture, so I have to redesign the picture once again. I have to tell them that the glass has a crack and the water is rinsing out and our products will disappear. So that was the starting point when the employees understood that there is a need of a change. Because even when the European Union told us the light bulb will disappear, they told us this will never happen. But finally, after year, we saw that the products disappear. So when you go into the store, you will not see any light bulbs anymore. So the people understand there is a need. But when you do the big change in such a plant like mine, I have in the past, over 500 employees. Nowadays we are 250, so we reduced a lot. There is quite a big, I would say, group of people that I have to tell how to do the transformation, and without a strategy, it's not possible. And therefore, I draw this pyramid. It's very easy. I think everybody knows it. The first thing is you go for lean, you do the things and try to eliminate waste, and finally go for digitalization. And I was lucky because I was studying electrical engineering, so that's my home run. So I can do whatever I get trained over the last years, and so that's quite easy for me. And for sure, one thing it's coming up, it's the green topic, but nevertheless, it was there all the time, but now it's mentioned especially. When you go for lean, you always think lean is just a toolbox like 5S and problem-solving story. No, there is a hierarchical approach. That is very important to understand. Within my plant, we are really doing everything by using the lean methods. It starts always with the Hoshin country, with the strategic target setting at the beginning of the year, and we break it down. We go for it and try to track the targets, but you are not only able to set a target, to track the target, you have to implement as well, groups that they are able to change the things by themselves on the shop floor, and this is done by lean leaders or within TPM groups, the traditional topic. But one of the most important thing is, when you do this big change, you need a good communication, and that's the shop floor management. So within my plant, we have shop floor management installed on the whole production area, as well in the offices, as well in the R&D area. So all of them are practicing shop floor management, and it's cascading from the production area up to the management. And what we do is, we have a high communication, because the people would like to understand what is their target, what is their benefit within the whole organization. And the question is, how does it combine with digitalization? Digitalization, I would say, is an assistant system to do the work better. There are a lot of tools available. You can look into the different areas, and you will find always, helpful tools that support you to do the things better. You don't have to go for everything. You have to pick up, once again, the things that is necessary for you, because your business, it requires, might be more, powerful, successful support system. So we picked up the most relevant topics. But nevertheless, it's still a structure in the digitalization, and it always begins with the employees, because they have to use this digitalization system, and they have to use it in the daily work, and therefore we have to train them. So that's I would say, the major topic, what I learned over the last years: train the employees in all different areas, because they have to do the change by themselves. And for sure, then you have to install digital systems in the production. When you have a plant like mine, and the plant was built 1961, so it's really a brownfield plant. It's not very difficult. You just have to throw out the old controllers and you install a new one, and you are just, up to date. That's very easy. We build up a single tracing systems, and that's the fundamental for data analytics. So within my plant, we are using the bullshit bingo word, artificial intelligence, really in the production area, but we did it several years without knowing it. But nowadays we can say, okay, we are using as well artificial intelligence. In total, there is a dramatic change in the way how the employees are working. So from the traditional, and like you saw in the past, we produced 4,000 tons, so the employees were trained and used to lift heavy things, and nowadays we produce only small particle, and we produce it in a clean room area. You can see here the picture. So on the one side, it's the traditional area where we produce the wire with graphite surface, so it's everywhere, it's dirty, it's slippery, it's heavy because the temperature is very high, and they have to lift tungsten, so it's very, very heavy. But on the other side, there is the clean room area where we produce ceramic platelets. That's a phosphor inside of a ceramic. You can, there is a blue light below the LED, then the ceramic platelet, and then you have the white light. And this ceramic platelet gets produced in the clean room area. So you can imagine the transition from the employees from the left side to right side. It's dramatic. And that's not the only change what we are faced. Like I said, we have to change as well from the mass production to the project business. So we were used, with a constant order load in the production. But nowadays, when you go for a project business, you get the business or you lose it. So nowadays, we have to transfer the employees to the areas where we have the orders. So we transfer the employees from the wire production to the phosphor production and as well to the clean room production. And these are the same employees. So you can imagine what does it mean for the employees to understand, I do not know where I work today. I just get an order, please go to this working place or to the other working place. And how we did it, so that's the next work approach. In the past, we did it suddenly. So we trained the employees what I got, yeah. Either I saw a training and I thought it's good, then we trained it. But really to do this big transformation in that manner, it is more necessary to have an unstructured approach. What we did is, at first, we did an analysis of the current situation of the plant. We did an analysis of all the trainings that we had. And we also did an analysis of all the employees. So we made a survey and asked, what is your education? So, and this was done by the shift leader. I think it's not normal that always the shift leader knows what the workers are, educated, yeah. What for hobbies they are. Might be they have quite fancy hobbies and quite good knowledge. So we did a survey, we collected all these data, for sure with the agreement of the Workers' Council, so we spoke with them, so that everything was done in the German manner. So, and with this good overview, we had a good basis to look into the future. Yeah. What we did is we made this analysis. We tried to structure it in the right approach, because during that project, that was one of the critical problems. I will tell you later, because if you analyze a whole plant, it's very difficult. Either you are too high and you don't see the different task, what has to be done on the shop floor, or you are on the shop floor and you see all the different tasks and you don't have the overview. So that's quite difficult. But within this project, we developed a training program for the employees from today into the future. So what we looked is really how the future looks like and how we should train you step by step from month by month, that you are finally able to fulfill the task into the future. And this is not only done, on the skills, also about the quantity, yeah? How many employees do we need in which area? And to find out what the future will bring is very difficult, yeah? At the beginning, I thought, okay, I have an imagination. But when you close the eyes and you look into the future, at least in my area, it is quite difficult to understand what is really, how the future looks like. And what we did is we collected all the department heads, we gave them a few papers and said, okay, please read about the future. What do you think will come up next? And we did finally a workshop. And the question was always, what is my role into the future? Is my department necessary in future? Yeah. Are there different departments that has to be developed or to be closed? So this discussion was quite difficult, but necessary. And what was very important is that each department has had the same view on it. Because when you talk with one, you get an overview and you get aligned with one, but not with all of them. So what we did is an alignment about all the department head, and finally we worked out the future, at least at the current situation, what we see in a few years. So in total we worked out 21, training paths for the employees for the future to go forward. But when you have the training path, it is not necessary to have just the path, it's also required to follow up it. I think that's one of the biggest problems in the reality. If you have an idea, you have a good imagination what you should do, but you are not doing it, or might be there is a problem and you stay. What we do, each week we go over our trainings with the balanced scorecard that we have with all the department heads, and we look where we are. Did we miss a training? Should we go for additional training? And then we set the target again and we follow up. So the idea is not the solution. You have to follow up all the time and react for each deviation. And what I said, very important is the communication to the employees. We do it with the shop floor management, and this is our two pictures from the shop floor management on the production areas. It's, you would say, might be not digital. On the left side, you are right, that is handmade, but it's working very easy. Piece of paper, color-coded, and you can communicate with the employees. And there you can see the traditional area, safety, quality, cost, delivery, personal. Within this area, within these letters, we also include the trainings. So we speak with the employees, where are you? What are the expectations, which training you should take, and why you should take this training. That he understands the need, why he is going for this additional training course. And so he understands, might be not at the beginning, his role into the future. Yeah. When I always think, okay, I show a presentation or I show something and everybody understands it immediately, I understood quite fast that's not possible. I have to tell this each day in different manners, by using different slides, by using different words. And I also need as well my shift leaders, because they have to transform my words into the word of the employees, because sometimes the employees do not understand me. Not about my Swabian language, because of the content. Yeah. On the right side there you can see the clean room area, where we also have transformed the paper stuff into the digital. So I think it's not, you know, the topic digital or paper based, it is the content that is necessary to transform to the employees. And like I said, when we did this next work approach for the whole plant, it was quite difficult to find the right, I would say, few, you know, the height. If you are too high, you just be finished within 1 hour, but you haven't fulfilled it in detail. But if you go too deep, yeah, you will not go forward. You will be stuck in the different operations. So you have to find the right balance, and that's quite difficult. What we also learned, it takes time. So this project was not able to do within 1 week. So that was a project to develop the training courses over 6 months. And we followed it up right now. It's also that we are not perfect. Even when you think you read a lot of piece of papers, you know a lot, but nothing is perfect. So you have to accept that the people see it differently, and you have to accept that they are allowed to tell as well their view, and you have to take all these different thoughts and to handle them and to react on it. That is what I do on each working council meeting. I take all the threads that I got from the workers' council, I get prepared and I try to make slides and I show them what we are doing and why we are doing it. And communication to the employee, that's key, daily, and do it permanently, even when you thought, okay, I told them it already 100 times, do it next one. And for sure, that's my lovely picture. It's the VUCA world in the world that we are currently. We get hit all the time by waves. It's very important to keep the strategy. So if something happens and you get pushed, you know, away, just remember where you want to be into the future. Yeah, it is the tower there. Like I said, we are using the Hoshinkanri approach. That means we have always the targets in front of us. Even when the wave is coming and pushing us away, everybody knows where we would like to be at the very end. And so they are able to adjust, you know, their forces by themselves, and they can go into the right direction. And when we are coming back and closing the circle where we started, you might be remember the picture. The worker is staying there and says, okay, I lost my light bulb. Yeah, it disappears. And now he gets all the trainings, he gets the communication, he gets all this information. At least my hope is that he understands that there is a bridge between the current situation and the future. And he understands now why he is going for problem-solving ability, agility, lifelong learning, error culture. So he understands the need why we are doing this, so that he can bridge it, and he hopefully has the feeling that he is not alone, that we are in a group, that he gets, a warm hand, and that we are walking that path together on it. And that's the last picture, for sure. I'm walking that path since many years, and I understood as well, I learned it during the time with the digitalization stuff. You cannot do everything by yourself. You need partners, you have to exchange the things, and you have to share all the thoughts and the ideas, because you have to take all the different opportunities and to judge whether it's value for your business, whether you can take it for your company or not. And you're always welcome to get in an exchange. Thank you very much.
One question, it looks like it's very smooth to have this way, from the analyzing to developing the new skills you have to develop, and it's not stopping right now, it's going on. So one question to you, what was the biggest hurdle, you would say, to bring this process on the way?
Yeah, that's very easy, to build the trust to the employees, that they trust you, that this is the right approach to go forward. And I'm not a plant manager that is coming and after 2 years leaving the company, so I'm there since over 20 years. So what I do today, I have to handle tomorrow, so they know that I'm not, just look on my career, that they can trust as well on me, and that they can follow. And that's it.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I think there will be a lot of other questions we will have then during the roundtable session. And therefore, thanks a lot.
Okay.